We're starting this week's video off with a road trip to one of our new favourite places to go, Lyme Regis. They do have a big problem with the seagulls. And apparently they're protected species and you're not allowed to kill them, and they mug you. It's a big issue, but we'll get to that later. Anyway, yeah, so we're going to get a fisherman to take us out into the ocean, and we're going to catch a big fish, and then we're going to take that fish and we're going to cook it on our new Ninja Woodfire Grill, who are actually the sponsor for this week's video. All we need is for there to be no rain, and if there's no rain, we're good to go. So that's the plan. But as my late dad used to say, the devil laughs at those who make plans. The tide's in. Don't know why I said that. Don't know why that matters. These are so good for whingy kids, man. The minute they start arguing, I'm just like, boop, silence. They just cancel out all the whingy sounds and I can just deal with it. You've been quite whingy, Rufus. The plan was, initially, to take a boat out. I got a guy to take us out into the sea and do some deep sea fishing. We were gonna go out there, do some fishing, catch a fish, but then the weather apparently out there isn't, we couldn't do it basically, it got cancelled. So instead, we're gonna go to somewhere to buy a fish. That's the bedroom for the boys. So the plan is to get some fish from the fishmongers, then go back to the camper van and we'll make a snack because we don't ever shoot on an empty stomach, because if Hannah doesn't eat, then, well, Hannah needs to eat.
This.
Gonna butter some bread. Hannah's got some soup on the go. Kids are somewhere playing.
They're screaming.
Oh well, at least they're not screaming near us. That's the main thing. Right, let's do some bread buttering.
I wish it was acceptable for adults to go to the beach and just be like, ah!
Yeah, I suppose you could.
Yeah, I might later.
Do it. Let it all out, Hannah Mags. I love bringing the dogs. Shut up. Our neighbour in Bath is this really nice lady called Helen. Her family have this like caravan on the beach. It's just like a mobile home.
Dad?
It's worth, get this, £250,000. Not the, I mean, the actual mobile home isn't worth that. It's just obviously the location of being right here on the beach. 250, $250,000. And they shut off the water for like most of the year, so you can't live in them full time. They're only like holiday homes.
Humbai Bingsling. Yes. Oh, Humbai Bingsling.
Doesn't it smell weird?
When Hannah cooks anything, she basically just burns it. I have to scrape off all the burnt bits of soup at the bottom of it. And I want to say to her, like, just cook it like on a lower temperature and keep stirring it, cook it for a little bit longer instead of just like burning it. But I daren't say that because I'd get in so much trouble if I did. It's easier just not to say anything and then just sort it out. Happy wife, happy life. I hate that rule. In my head, it was a beautiful blue sky day. We were gonna go out there, go fishing, catch a big fish, take it back, cook it up on the grill, make a lovely kind of evening fish dinner. And it was gonna be all romantic and lovely, and instead, blustery and windy and rainy. And now we've got to sleep in a van for the evening. What I found with the camper van trip is that they have probably like a 70% probability of going wrong. There's a good girl. There's a good girl. There's a good girl. Go on. We're still having a nice time together anyway. And our mate, Helen, has let us borrow her little sort of caravan thing so we can kind of set up a base in there and keep nice and warm. So far, we've just been rained off almost every trip we've had in it.
Here's the thing about that pesky devil. If you hang around long enough, he'll get bored of laughing at your plans, and then he'll bugger off and go back to making more of those sky demons, aka seagulls.
Good morning. So we got rained off last night, but today is absolutely beautiful. So we're gonna do our little fish for breakfast instead.
We've woken up to such a beautiful day. I've already had a little sea dip. Kids have been running around, fell asleep to the sound of the ocean. I got my fish, which was freshly caught out there yesterday. I said, what's the nicest fish for grilling? And he said, mullet. Mullet, yeah? Oh yeah, that does look fresh. Thanks, mate. Cheers, buddy. I've got fishy fingers, Cones. Could you open that for me, please? Right, I'm gonna sprinkle the fish with some of this stuff. This is just a paprika and pepper.
seasoning. So this is the Ninja Woodfire grill. What I love about this so much is that it has this little compartment on the side here, and it comes with these little pellets, these little wood pellets, and you put some of the wood pellets in that little dispenser in the side, and it gives your food like that kind of smoky, woody kind of flavour, which is great. So yeah, it has an air fryer in there. You can roast, bake, reheat, grill, smoke food. So I'm gonna have it just on the grill. As soon as that's preheated, I'm going to put the fish on, about 4 minutes on each side. I've also got some asparagus, and I've got some courgette and some corn on the cob. Corn on the cob, someone's happy about it.
The Ninja Woodfire electric barbecue grill and smoker is a must-have for foodies this summer. It has 7 cooking functions and even works as an air fryer. Just plug it in and off you go.
We got here yesterday, it was like thundering down with rain, it was all miserable, and then you wait a few hours, and then look at this. A bit like life, isn't it? A bit like a metaphor for life. There we go. There we go, that's going to fry up nicely. So I'm going to close that lid because it's a little bit windy. So what I want to do is I want to melt some butter. So I put some butter in a tin cup, and I'm going to put that tin cup inside the Ninja grill, and that should melt it. And then I put the parsley in, I mix it up, and then I can like drizzle that all over the fish. Oh yes! It is time to flip the fish.
Smooth.
Oh, look at this. So another 4 minutes on the other side.
Smells so good.
A few moments.
Let's see if my butter's melted. Oh, look at that. Look at that, perfect. We're going to put a bit of lemon in there. So I'll squeeze some lemon in there and put some parsley in there. And then we've got a lovely sauce to go over it. That now is our delicious lemon, butter and parsley sauce. I want a nice smoky flavoured fish, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some of these wood pellets in this little compartment in the side here, and then there's a big button on the front here saying wood fire flavour technology. You press that bad boy there and then kaboom. So what that'll do is heat up that wood, and then you'll get that wood flavour circulate inside the grill, and your fish will taste nice and woody.
It smells like we've just cooked it on a bonfire or something, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's so nice. I can't wait to try it. See all that smoke coming out now. Ooh, baby.
Oh, fresh fish caught yesterday. That's what I'm talking about. Nice, healthy, Mediterranean style breakfast. Right, boys. How's your corn on the cob? It's infused with cherry oak flavoured wood.
Wait, so wood's been in there?
Yeah, this food has been infused with wood.
Anybody want salt?
So wood is in it?
Particles of wood would be in it, yeah. That's what gives it that lovely smoky flavour. Oh my God, that's so nice.
This is genuinely like restaurant food.
We have multiple cameras with us today. We've got the cinema camera, we've got the DSLR, we've got a little Canon G7X, we've got the 360 camera, but I've been filming a lot more these days on iPhone. The problem is with iPhone shots is that like the sensor in the iPhone is so tiny that the image can look quite flat. It looks really good and sharp and everything, but it's quite flat. But it does have something that all my other cameras don't have, something really important, and that's the relatability factor. Like when you shoot on an iPhone, suddenly your content almost looks more authentic, whereas if you're shooting on a cinema camera, it almost like takes people out of what you're shooting, because like they're suddenly like watching this like high-end cinema camera, which like almost can look alienating in a way. It looks good, looks much better, but can be a bit more alienating. It's good sometimes to purposely bring in a reductive medium like iPhone shots, because they just, they look more authentic and more relatable. Anyway, Grayson's getting a little photo shoot with Hannah. People tend to take photos like from just like, well, from standing height. They just put the camera to their face and just take the photo. If I take this photo here, now look what happens if I put it really far down onto the ground and get a shot like this. So look at the difference there, just by bringing the camera down. You're inviting in more negative space. I think it's just more of an interesting angle. There's so many times I've been out with Hannah shooting and I found myself like lying on the ground, which is harder to do now. I'm getting older. Like, yeah, lying down on the ground when you're 40 is a lot harder than it is when you're sort of like in your
in your early 30s, but, you know, I still get down there. I can still do it for now. I can still do it. I've just been talking to one of the security ladies who works on the beach, basically telling everyone to put their dogs on leads. And she came over to talk about our Dachshunds, and I was asking her about the seagulls and about like why they're not being culled, like how they're allowed to just mug people, because they're just going around basically. I've seen it already today, just like someone walking along with a sandwich and it went down and stole a sandwich. Last year when Hannah and I came here, I got mugged by one of the seagulls. I went to the police station, they told me there's nothing they can do about it. I was like, hang on, this is an offence. What we need to be doing is killing them, but apparently they're protected. She was telling me they're protected, so we can't just kill them. So what I'm tempted to do is set up some sort of GoFundMe or some sort of like a campaign to basically get them unprotected. So get them unprotected so we can start like killing them. I'm thinking we should have some sort of reward system for like, if you go out and you like slay one, you take it to like the post office or something, they give you like 50 quid or something along those lines, because this is just getting ridiculous now. We can't have this. We are the top of the food chain and they're not respecting that. All these people who are saying, oh, they're protected. I bet if they had a mosquito in the room, they killed the mosquito. It's no different. It's still a life. A life is a life. It doesn't matter on how big or small it is. It is a life. I'm still really upset about that time I got mugged by one. I'm never going to let that go. I'm never going to get over that time last year when they took the fish out of my hand. That was like an expensive fish I queued for ages and he just stole it. You know, that was it. And I'll never forgive the police for not doing anything about it. No investigation or anything.
We have just got in the van, ready to go home now, just in time because it's just started raining, so we got the best of the weather. But yeah, we had a really nice trip and now we're gonna head back. Just got home, done the laundry, ironed the uniform, cooked the dinner, cleaned the kitchen. Gonna do the kids' bedtime in a minute.
Hannah and I and the kids are going to go on a photo shoot now. And one of our friends called Sarah, who's an amazing photographer, she's coming down to update our family snaps. Someone's excited about it. They also have the cutest daughter in the entire world. So there's this thing called the YouTube death spiral. It's basically just when a YouTube channel, month after month, experiences a net decline in subscribers. So month after month, you lose more subscribers than you gain. And we have been in one of these death spirals, forget this, half a decade, 5 years. It got to the point where Hannah and I had to sit down and have a pretty frank conversation about like where to go from here. Like, do we just come off social media, disappear into the digital void and never look back, or do we put up one last fight and see if we can somehow turn it around so we can keep doing what we love more than anything, creating content? We decided to do that. We decided to give it one last shot, but we knew we had to go big and pull out all the stops. So we did things like partner with a new management company, revamped all of our branding, booked this photo shoot. We got a camper van so we could do more outdoor content. I even got my friend Neil on board, who's good with numbers, to have a look at everything and see what we could do better. And then last week, something weird happened. We gained more subscribers than we lost. Now, it's only a couple of hundred, and it's no doubt a glitch, and we'll go back down again, but I can't tell you how good it feels just for a small fleeting moment to not be in that death spiral. So I want to say a massive, heartfelt thank you to all of you that have subscribed, and for all of you who've stuck around, and you being here honestly means the world to us. So yeah, thanks. I do this most days. Load my 2 boys onto my bike and then ride them to school. For an infinite amount of time, this never happened. And then it did. And then for an infinite amount of time, it will never happen again. Sometimes, if you allow them to, within these tiny actions, the illusion of time reveals itself. The illusion of time, though disconcerting, can serve as a reminder to live life fully and deeply and feel everything, the good, the bad. Riding my 2 boys to school on my bike is a moment sandwiched between infinity. And as so, as time marches onwards, let us dance with the illusion, celebrate the fleeting joys, and embrace the ephemeral nature of our existence. For it is in these moments, when the world feels most fragile and fleeting, that we're truly alive.
I did put their helmets on, by the way, after this. I got to the end of the path and then I realised they didn't have their helmets on, and I went back and put the helmets on, just preempting anyone telling me off. They do wear helmets, I promise you. Their safety is a high priority. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this week's video. We're actually going off tomorrow to Italy to check out Italy as a potential place to move to. So we're gonna go there tomorrow. So we fly out there very early tomorrow. So I'm gonna round up the video here. But to celebrate the fact that we went up subscribers for the first time in 5 years, I decided to treat you all to something. For the past couple of years, I've been writing a novel. I've been talking about it every now and again. I'm gonna read out some of it now. I hope you enjoy it. And I will see you for our next video. It's gonna be a special one. Thanks for watching, guys. And thanks to Ninja Woodfire Grill for sponsoring this video as well. All the links down there. Enjoy.
Jesus ruddy Christ, Stephen thought to himself as he noticed her tenderly approaching his queue in the Marks and Spencer's checkout aisle. She was fit. Fit with a capital F, a capital I and a capital T to boot. Stay cool, he whispered under his breath before turning towards the ghoulish-looking cashier lady who was slowly scanning his items. He knew he needed to assert his dominance, so he quickly spread his legs, adopting the power stance, and then flung his arms back for a beefy stretch. This was more than a stretch. This was a sophisticated psychological power play, Stephen's way of saying, I'm here, and you need to know about it. He slowly rolled his head over his shoulder to take another stealthy look at her before lunging forwards for the small plastic divider and placing it between their items on the conveyor belt, not realizing she'd already put one down herself. You beat me to it, Stephen cleverly quipped, putting the plastic divider back into its track, a faint grin washing over his chiseled, ginger-bearded face. Stephen was in his early 40s, but didn't look a day over 26. The girl chuckled softly, her gaze meeting his piercing blue eyes. Stephen was struck by her beauty. Her hair appeared as soft as butter, as if that butter had been melted by a friggin' blowtorch. Her eyes were the same greenish hue found on cigarette packets, and her chuckle was as delicate as an extremely large Walker's crisp. She was mixed race too, which was f***ing ace as far as he was concerned. That's a lot of beef, she observed, commenting on Stephen's sizable stack of lean mints on the conveyor belt. I'm on the carnivore diet, Stephen replied in a deep baritone voice that sounded like warm chocolate milk being poured into her ear holes. Oh nice, she said. Is that what Joe Rogan and those other intellectual dark web guys always talk about? She glanced again at his neatly stacked lean mints. It is, Stephen confirmed, impressed by her obvious depth of knowledge. She clearly wasn't like all the other girls he usually dated, Instagram models who'd rather discuss Love Island than any of the deep and profound philosophical shit he was into. Stephen had real depth. He had the Banksy book, Wall and Peace, proudly displayed on his coffee table, and even went to see his favourite poet, Scrubulous Pip, in the O2 Arena once. Cool, she said, eyeing up Stephen's very muscular, heavily tattooed arms hanging out of his plunging V-neck shirt. Stephen was into CrossFit big time, and you could so tell. I suppose you have a girlfriend, she asked, in a tone suspended somewhere between eagerness and disappointment. I guess that depends on who's asking, Stephen said, biting his bottom lip and looking at her with drowsy eyes. Not drowsy in the slopey way, more of the melancholy and disarming way. I am, she said, feeling a tingly sensation you-know-where. Her fanny. Fast forward 6 hours later and they were entangled in a passionate embrace. Having sex, basically. And you know what? He didn't even know her name.